Okay, hello everyone. I am here with a couple, I'm going to call you guys Wilmot legends because they're changing the Wilmot game here. And I'm actually really excited to have them because they have a lot of exciting things coming up in the Wilmot youth world, the Wilmot wrestling world. So, hi guys. Introduce yourselves.
I'm Nick Del Frate. I am a Wilmot alum and president of the Wilmot Junior Panthers Wrestling Club. Head coach as well.
I'm Ryan Gartner. I am a special ed teacher here at Wilmot, also a Wilmot alum, and I am the head wrestling coach here as well. So we've been around here for a long time.
Which is why I called you guys legend because you have a lot of history here at Wilmot.
Yeah, both our names are on the wall in the room. Pictures. It's actually funny because he is kind of the generation or years above me that I looked up to those guys growing up. Like, they all went and got out of high school before I came in, and those are the people. His time frame is when all the state champions and stuff came through, and so.
What's the age gap?
4 years?
No, 5. When did you graduate? 12 or so? 5 years.
Okay.
So he got out right before I came in, and but it's funny now how like we're both back, but now I'm at the high school level and he's at the youth level, so it makes it kind of cool.
I know, that's awesome. And then what happened between there? Did either of you go on to college wrestle? Your journey, what happened there, and then how did you guys end up back at Wilmot?
My story is very complicated. You want to start?
So I actually was more of a football player than a wrestler.
Okay.
Like in high school,
Who was the football coach?
Keith Deaton back then.
Okay.
He's not here anymore, I don't think. But in high school, yeah, I looked at myself as a football player who wrestled.
Okay.
And I took wrestling serious during the season, but that was really it. And then my senior year, it's football and then wrestling. And at the end of the wrestling season, I kind of looked at myself more as a wrestler than a football player. And it was, it's one of those things like after high school, unless you're playing college ball, which I didn't, it's like you can't really do it after. And so I kept on wrestling, though. I came to the high school and helped coach a couple other high school kids at the time.
Okay.
And helped Coach Watson and did some old timers tournaments. I stayed in it, and it's always been a good way for me to it's my outlet and a good way to stay in shape. And
A NARP, a non-athletic retired person.
Yeah, pretty much. Just an amateur guy, just wanting to scrap and have fun. So
yeah,
it's a band.
For me, where do I start? So I wrestled in college a little bit.
Okay.
Out in North Carolina, transferred back home to Whitewater. When I came to Whitewater, I wasn't sure if I was going to wrestle or play football. I asked to both. Some coaches were okay with it. The wrestling coach that was there that helped bring me in, he left. The new one wasn't okay with it, so I was just kind of done with college wrestling, but I did like the Olympic circuit type thing. Wrestled in a couple world team trials. Didn't ever make the team in that time period. I made it when I was younger. Was supposed to wrestle in the Olympic trials in 2016, but had a little injury that kind of set me back. I really didn't have a place to train at Whitewater to do that kind of thing. But I still stuck around the sport, helping, working at clubs or coming to help the high school or other schools around the area. And then I worked on the Navy base as a sports director for 5 years out of college.
Interesting.
I started wrestling tournaments there.
Right.
So it was kind of cool. And then COVID kind of ruined that. COVID seems to ruin a lot of things, but COVID kind of ruined that. And yeah, pretty much. I mean, the job opened here, and I took it. Then I got in the door to teach and working on my teaching license, and now we're here.
So let's get into some of the things. Nick, you have a family now, you have kids, you're helping start the Junior Panther program, you're taking the high school program to a new level. So do you want to talk about kind of how the Junior Panthers program has come to be?
Yeah, so I really didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
I remember talking to a dad and just telling him how we got in here, and he goes, yeah, it usually starts off you're a volunteer and you end up like being the head coach, and that's kind of what happened. Is COVID killed the youth program here, and that guy who ran it took it private, and he was focused on a core group of kids. My son at the time, he's still pretty young, he's 6, and at the time he was like 4 or 5. We kind of just felt it was better if I got in touch with Ryan, which is kind of nice because we had that relationship of wrestling alum, and he's someone I could reach out to and just said, hey, I have a couple kids that are interested in wrestling. Can we come here to the high school? And ever since then, it's, we started, it was more open gyms, not really like a real season.
Sure.
I mean, we had practice and we learned technique, but none of the kids were doing tournaments. And I think maybe at tops we had 30 kids. And this year with, marketing and open gyms and summer camp, we have 60 kids registered. So it's
fantastic. We're coming a year ago and seeing the turnout, and now following you guys on social media and seeing the amount of kids that you're getting. It's amazing.
It's pretty wild. And even then, I thought it was going to be, tops 35 kids.
Sure.
And we shut the registration down, at a specific date.
Okay.
And I think we were at like 45. And then, parents are like, oh, we forgot. And we're trying to let all the kids who want to wrestle. So we opened it back up and we closed it again. And yeah, we have like 60. So
I love it. And even the culture you're building is exciting. And even if a kid hasn't wrestled much in the past, they're welcome to come. You guys make it super engaging for all of the athletes.
Yeah, that's really the main purpose of this. Wrestling is a tough sport, and it's a long, grueling sport, especially as you get older. So what we want to do for the youth kids is just make it as fun as possible. I love this sport. I've learned and grown so much through this sport, and I would hate for somebody to hate it because it was just, grueling and daunting, and we want to make it fun. We want to make wrestling fun because it is fun.
Yeah, you guys are doing fantastic. And then Ryan, do you want to touch on how you're kind of collaborating Junior Panthers and then up into growing the varsity program?
Yeah, so we were talking before we started shooting, and me and Nick both wrestled for the same club at one point. That's pretty much all I ever knew growing up was that one club. But like I said, in that club, I kind of looked up to them and wanted to, be in high school, wanted to be like those guys. And, I think history kind of repeats itself when those things happen. So our big thing is, getting the youth kids involved and seeing what our culture like is the high school and kind of trying to emulate that at a younger age, because by the time they get into these doors, they'll kind of already know what to expect. But like Nick said, it's to make it fun. Growing up, you don't want a kid to walk out the door thinking that wasn't a good experience.
Right.
So our big thing is make it fun, make it enjoyable. Obviously, we want to be competitive and win, but if we can build a good culture for a foundation with the youth program, by the time they get here, the winning and all those things will kind of take place. So,
and we are in a rural area, so families, athletes, they need places to go. So Wilmot is essentially the hub of our community.
Yeah, and I might be biased here, but I think we've always had a pretty solid wrestling program.
This is for sure wrestling. Wisconsin Big Ten country. Wisconsin Big Ten country. It's growing too, which is the crazy part. I was introduced to youth wrestling really last year, going to tournaments, And I grew up in Kenosha, where you're just wrestling other city schools, so it's kind of small.
Yeah.
And then I come out here, and I remember my first wrestling tournament in the club that I grew up with Ryan in. There was clubs with 50 kids, and there was 20 teams at a tournament, and that was 15, 20 years ago, and it's only getting bigger and more organized.
Yeah.
And so if you're gonna wrestle, starting at a young age is crucial.
What age can they start junior Panther wrestling or getting in for open gyms?
Open gyms, we recommend kindergarten. I mean, we make exceptions, some kids just have that ability to pay attention and to focus.
Sure.
But yeah, kindergarten through 8th grade is the youth club.
Okay. Are you taking boys and girls?
Yep. Yeah. And it's super cool because my daughter wanted nothing to do with it. She likes warming up. We jog and skip and do cartwheels. And my daughter, who's 8, she wanted nothing to do with it. And a couple times she was like, "Dad, I want to practice today. I want to practice today." And I was like, "Okay, all right." And just didn't really put any value in it. And then one day she brought out her shoes, and then she started wrestling a boy in her class, and she took him down. And it's just it's a huge confidence builder. And that's another area of wrestling that's really growing is Iowa Hawkeyes. They have, they just started their women's team, and there's I don't know how many college clubs have girls wrestling. So
yeah,
the fastest growing high school sport for girls right now. So.
For sure.
We have a women's wrestling team here at Wilmot.
Sure do.
Let's touch on that because that's new recently with you as the coach, right?
Yeah, so I had both the girls and the boys teams. Last year, probably 3 weeks into the season, I had a group of like 8 to 10 girls that, hey, we want to try this out.
Okay.
It was tough because it wasn't started right away. So I would do 5:30 a.m. practice with the girls, teach for the day, and then come do the boys till 5:30 at night.
Okay.
I got worn out a little bit. I got a little bit of help from a guy down in Illinois that would come up once in a while in the mornings to, have somebody else to work with them.
Okay.
But as the season kind of went on, some injuries and other things happened where it kind of dissolved towards the end of the year. And then this year, I think 3 or 4 of them are returning. And we have 11 out right now. So big step up from last year. We just started practice yesterday. So, we're excited. I have some of the best girl athletes in the building wrestling. So, in my opinion.
And they compete just as much as the boys do, or do they have a couple less matches?
Right now, they have a couple less events. At the duels, if the other teams like Central or Burlington, the conference schools that we wrestle, if they have other girls, our girls can compete against theirs. If they want to wrestle a boy, they can. A girl can wrestle in the boys' day tournament, but they cannot wrestle in both. So they have to make that decision.
Okay.
Most girls now have kind of just stuck to that girls' season because there are a lot of girls now. It's pretty competitive. There's a girl at Badger who's one of the top girls in the country. So, girls wrestling in this area is starting to take off a lot. So
awesome. Yeah, I'm seeing more of that. And I know we always throw a lot of info on these podcasts and we get a lot of questions. So how can people follow along with Junior Panthers? How can they keep up with Wilmot Wrestling, sign up for things? Because I know there's going to be a lot of people wanting to join and participate.
So for high school, we have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter, we have an Instagram. I'm posting on that thing almost daily, it seems like now.
You're so good.
Yeah, and that's my big piece is I want to create a culture. I want to make it fun and exciting for the boys. They're all, and the girls now, we do photo shoots, we do all these things, and I think that's half the battle is making them excited because they want to see themselves kind of put out there and how well they're doing. So we run pretty much every social media. We have a lot of events, so it's pretty cool.
For the youth club, You can follow us at Wilmot Junior Panthers Wrestling Club on Instagram and Facebook. A lot of information goes out on Facebook. My wife is the administrator. She does awesome. She's really organized, and she's communicating with parents, and so you can find us there. And then throughout the year, it seems like this is pretty much like a full-time job. It's fun, though. It's fun. We have the golf outing that we did this year. We have the summer camp. We have open gyms almost year round.
Okay.
We do take breaks after the season, and then kind of around football season, we'll take a little break.
Okay.
And you can find all of that information, any updates on practices or anything, is you can Instagram or mainly Facebook.
Yeah.
And also we have a website. So if you want to rep some merch, go to Wilmot Junior Panthers Wrestling.com, and we got spirit wear. So if you're looking for some new, what do they call threads? Is that what the kids call them, threads? You want to get some Raz, some drip, there you go. And so yeah, go there.
Yeah, you guys do such a good job. You guys are active on Facebook and Instagram and doing all of the updates daily. So if you guys ever are questioning anything, head over to Facebook and Instagram, because you guys are always on that. And then what if somebody wants to sponsor? Is there anything the community can do to help your programs, even if it's just, share what's going on?
So we have this thing called the Inner Circle.
Okay.
Wrestling mat's got a circle, you wrestle in the circle. So we have this thing called the Inner Circle where we want people to try and be part of Wilmot Wrestling, whether it's high school or youth. And so we have a Facebook page for it, but basically by joining the Inner Circle, they're helping both the high school and the youth program, whether it's funding, resources, you name it. But they can donate. We run it through the youth club. They're very, very beneficial to help the high school.
Yeah.
So we run it through the youth club, but it's an organization group that we try to benefit both parties. So, there's always something on social media that we'll post, so people can find it.
Where can the community come watch you guys, support you guys? Anything exciting coming up in the wrestling world?
So for high school, we have our first tournament for the varsity guys 2 days after Thanksgiving. It's in Antioch. It's technically at Lakes High School. That's where they host it, but it's ran by Antioch. We compete all against a bunch of Illinois teams, which are pretty good. So they come out to that one. That's on a Saturday. Starts at roughly 9 or 10 o'clock. That'll be a pretty good test for us right away. And then this year we're starting something new. We have a scrap on the stage event. So us and Central and us will be wrestling in the auditorium on the stage. Matt will be on the stage. So it's kind of one of those unique events. I've been part of one, but it's something different. You don't get to do that every time. When you wrestle, usually you're just in a gym.
Yeah. I remember you talking about this like a year ago.
Yeah.
And now it's finally coming.
There's been a lot of work put into this. But I think it's cool. We get to wrestle our rival.
Yeah.
And it's the first conference duel of the year. So we're trying to start off the season with a big bang, make it a fun experience for everybody. It's youth night, it's alumni night, it's salute to service night. So, we're trying to get that place to standing room only. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Perfect. I'm excited. And that will be blasted all over social media too. Wilmot's page, Wilmot Wrestling's page, Junior Panther. So you guys you'll stay up to date with that.
For us, we practice Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5:45 to 8 o'clock. We have 2 different sessions. We have the little kids, the littles. That's from 5:45 to 6:45, and then from 6:45 to 8, we have the bigger kids.
Right.
And we have that's youth night that Ryan was talking about for the scrap on the stage. And we have tournaments kind of all around southeastern Wisconsin, Sundays for the most part. Eventually we're gonna have a youth tournament here at Wilmot.
Awesome.
December 4th, Parkside is our first one. It's probably the closest one too.
Okay.
So yeah, if you guys want to come check us out.
I bet the wrestling days can be long days. I remember from going.
Yeah.
But they are so fun and they are very intense. And I see the videos of the parents really getting into it.
Yeah, I can't even talk after. My voice is gone.
I love that. Okay.
Thank you for taking the time. Obviously, we're not like the big prominent sport all the time, but we're definitely making an impact in our building and around the community. So thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. This is something that the community definitely needs. That they definitely need a wrestling team. So if you feel like your kid, needs an outlet, this is definitely a place to start.
And you guys have been amazing, supportive. If your kids ever need resources or anything, reach out to these guys, even if it's not wrestling. I know you guys are very involved in the school, in the community. You have young kids. So these two are great resources. All right. Bye, you guys.
Thank you.